Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another edition of By Any Means Necessary. I'm your host, Melvin Thompson. I'm the executive director of the Endeleo Institute. Endeleo is a Swahili word for progress, growth, and development. We are a member organization of Trinity United Church of Christ on 400 West 95th Street. And I believe this is the first time, this is our fourth show, and I believe I've never mentioned our illustrious visionary pastor, Reverend Dr. Otis Moss III, who is our pastor, our leader, the architect of Endeleo, my boss. And I just wanted to give him a shout out. Hope he's doing well. OM3, we love you. And I think he's traveling right now, getting some well-deserved rest. The gentleman to my right is Emile Cambry Jr. He is the founder and CEO of Blue 1647, the largest African-American owned tech incubator in the country. We're going to be talking to him about all of his exploits and all the exciting things that are happening at Blue 1647 in just a minute. I wanted to talk a little bit and give you, like I always do, the market recap of the previous week. It was a hot one, about 95 degrees, and we still had about 200 folks that came out. We actually added more farmers. We started our first week July 9th with just 2 farmers. We've since tripled that. We have 6 African American farmers, and we're really excited about that because we in the past had struggled with getting farmers to come. It's so competitive, and farmers markets around the country and around the city are going through the same thing. So it's a pleasure, and when I think once they find out that they're selling out, I think the word spreads fast that this is a place that they should be. So we're really excited about that. One of the takeaways that we had was the unveiling of one of our promotional investments. As I mentioned, as I do every week, that we have a grant. We're working off of a USDA grant to promote, market, and provide nutrition education for the Trinity's market for the next 2 seasons. So this season and the season following in 2017, we'll be supporting the market. And one of the things that we've used, and I haven't seen many farmers markets use it, is a billboard that happens to hover over the actual site at 95th and Normal. And so it was unveiled over the weekend, and so it was just in time for the market. And we got all the folks to kind of look up at the market, the billboard, and it says "By Any Greens Necessary." It's very colorful. You can see it from blocks away. So it's really an exciting thing, and we're just excited that we're growing week by week. Folks are finding out about us. Our church members, of course, are coming across the street and patronizing us. People from the community. We're not done yet. We're really promoting this in a major way. The other observation in seeing those 6 farmers was really just the thrill of seeing black farmers engaging with the community. Washington Heights is a predominantly African American community, and to see African American farmers selling their wares and actually doing their thing, it really brings something to your heart. I actually shop with all of the farmers, and I buy a little bit. I take it, one bag home from my family, one bag from my parents, and it's just a wonderful thing. This summer we're changing our lifestyles, and we're eating healthier. So it's a great thing all the way around, and it's the essence of entrepreneurship. And that's one of the reasons why I asked begged Emile to come on the show, because he is the consummate entrepreneur. And I think people don't look at farmers in general as entrepreneurial, and that's exactly what they do. They plant food, they cultivate it, they grow it, they harvest it, they transport it, and then they bring it to market and sell it. And there's nothing really glamorous about that. There's a lot of hard work, There's a lot of time out in the field, just in talking to the farmers. They so appreciate when folks show up and actually buy what they're selling. And so we want to be a community. I was reading today about the Kwanzaa principle, I think Ujamaa, and that whole cooperative economics piece. And it's just wonderful to see it come into fruition right in front of your eyes, right in our community, and we need to see more of it. And with that, I'd like to talk to Emile, because I know he's come a long way in such a very short time as an entrepreneur. And first, just tell us and tell the three people who probably don't know about Blue 1647 just exactly what it is, Emile.
Okay. Well, Melvin, thanks for having me on the show. It's truly an honor. And he didn't have to beg me. All he had to do is send a text message. So,
which is what I did.
Yeah, so it's not too hard to reach me. To tell you a little bit about Blue 1647, we're a network of technology and entrepreneurship centers. We figure and we know that underserved communities have a lot of innovation and have a lot of power, and we really have to do our work, our job of trying to cultivate that power, cultivate that talent, to really provide resources and just a space where people can connect, where people can take classes, where people can take workshops, and also network with other like-minded individuals who are doing amazing things, and sometimes they're just missing one small piece, and we just create a real culture around technology and entrepreneurship.
Wow. So where did the whole idea emanate from? You didn't wake up and become an entrepreneur?
No, I didn't wake up and become an entrepreneur, but I always wanted to in many capacities, because I figured that, I have some good ideas and I wanted to put them in motion. But for what we're doing with Blue 1647 is to really make it easier so everybody can participate if they want to work hard. And that's really all you want. You want to make sure you create a space and a time where people that want to work hard can be able to work towards a goal and be able to hopefully have some success along the way.
The whole thing, because you came from corporate America, correct?
Yeah, spent some time at J.P. Morgan Chase, which is the exact opposite of community economic development in some cases. But it was, I learned a lot in that process. And from that, though, we were able to apply some of the same methods, taking a look at business models, and really see how we can truly help the community.
And you also, you were, among other things, and I'll let you tell it, but you've done you're a professor. You've done some teaching.
Yeah, I enjoy education. And really how we can make it and present it in a different, interesting, fun way. So it's one thing to teach economics and say supply and demand, but how do you relate that to things that people talk about, think about every single day? And how do you also take something that's hard, where people aren't exactly excited to go to your class, and make it fun where people want to do that? So kind of the stuff that we're doing with Blue is really that same kind of piece of saying, hey, this thing is complicated. Let's distill it down to its most small, most relevant pieces, and let's also have some fun along the way and learn.
And this is, by the way, this is a live call-in show. If you have any questions for Emile or any questions in general, you can call us at 312-738-1060. That's 312-738-1060. Give us a call. Along those lines, what was it that you saw in students? Because I know you and I have talked a number of times, and I think you said you saw a disconnect in the classroom that made you make that jump.
Right. Well, one of the biggest things was, a lot of my minority students just weren't getting jobs and opportunities in the same rate for the same degrees and same skill sets. And many of them were because you weren't networked into certain places, but others were you just weren't given the same opportunity. But at the same time, I had some friends who had started companies that ended up being, large publicly traded companies, and they were looking for folks who had technical talent, who can code. And I asked my students, and many of them just didn't have that skill set, and they would be millionaires now if they had that skill set, and I'd be able to network them in. So let's make sure that skill gap is really addressed in a really intentional way, and let's make this thing fun so that everybody wants to come back and share and create. And
what's amazing about Blue is, this has morphed into a multi-state. You're across the country. Just tell us a few places that you've been able to, expand?
Yeah, we've been very fortunate since we've begun, because we've done things the right way in many cases, and it's the hardest way when you do it the right way. So we've expanded to St. Louis and Missouri, also in Compton, California. We're doing 6 housing developments in Los Angeles, California in September, so that's going to be amazing. We have 2 locations in St. Louis as well, where we're getting going. We have Gary, Indiana, that's just right around the corner.
Sure.
We have Austin, Texas. We have Baltimore and Minneapolis that is just on its way. So we're working in a lot of different ways, but I think it's just a testament to truly our team and how we've really brought an authentic environment to places that need it.
Sure. How are you received? Are our communities, that those cities that you named, do they know what they're looking for, or do they know that this is just good for them and this is the future, this is the 21st century, and they want to be a part of it? Where's the the awareness level in general?
Right. Well, the fascinating thing is now we don't have to ask. We get requests. Hey, can you come out here? Yesterday, had a call with someone in Jersey and said, hey, we'll do whatever it takes to get you out there. Can we do that? So I think the good thing about now versus 3-4 years ago when we first got going was people are more aware, and also people have seen the narratives of students that have been able to learn in a short amount of time and see the progress they've been able to have. We're more accepting of tech now than we were 3-4 years ago. But also, we know that this is about economic justice, and if this is the fastest growing industry, which is technology, and if you want to count entrepreneurship on top of that, I mean, you're talking about a lot of things that are at stake. So let's make sure that we're all prepared and to capitalize on this innovation economy.
Because we don't necessarily have, I know here in Chicago, we don't have on the south side or west side those co-working spaces like yours, where folks can come and just maybe all day long work either collaboratively or work on their own. So that has to be a welcome sign for someone to be able to work on their project, get help on it, or just work however they see fit.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about entrepreneurship is lonelier. It's a really lonely process because you're working on your idea and you don't tell too many people because you don't necessarily feel comfortable sharing.
Right.
And we actually have to do the exact opposite of that. Entrepreneurs need to be around other entrepreneurs. They need to be around other people who are building, making, and creating, because ultimately that helps your ideation process. That helps in the things that you're able to think of, and you're able to also leverage their network. Somebody could be working right into a space that you provide some expertise, so you can help somebody else out along the way. So it's truly about sharing, and that's something that hasn't really been cultivated as much in many underserved communities, and we want and because of that reason was why we had to put them there. Now,
what is the what is the biggest hurdle that you face as an entrepreneur, or maybe hurdles that you face as an entrepreneur on a daily basis that just drive you crazy, or what do you have to navigate around to do what you want to do for the community?
I think anytime you talk about community, most people think about just social service and not the innovation opportunities, right? So it's one thing to see if someone is a liability versus an asset, right? So we're coming into communities thinking of our communities as assets, as emerging markets, as places where if you cultivate some talent, then there's going to be some amazing returns. And sometimes that's at conflict, right? Because no one truly has been able to do that, and that's the way technology has been able to provide just recently. So some of those challenges are really being able to speak in the same language of what are the returns on impact or what are the returns on investment. And the good thing is once you start taking that narrative of what you've been able to do in some places, and people start to see the fruits of those labor and see the students and young people and old people who are truly evolving in a positive way, then all of a sudden it really changes that conversation. So we went from the beginning trying to prove this hypothesis that many people truly were skeptical of in many ways, but now it's more so saying, okay, how do we truly take it to the next level and put it at scale? Because if you're not working at scale, you truly are not able to maximize the opportunities that are presented.
Certainly. give us a picture of what Blue does. I know you talk about the 3 areas that you work in. Give us just a glimpse of those 3 aspects.
So we work in 3 major capacities. The first one we call people development, which is professional development, but we say people because it's more fun to say people, which consists of classes, workshops, and events. It's really about bringing that culture of entrepreneurship and technology together and getting exposure to the people that are doing great things, for the subject matter experts, and really putting it all together. The second capacity is our workforce development and workforce readiness, where we're truly bringing folks that have some skills, providing some additional technical technology skills, and getting them, fast-tracked into technology companies. So we've recently been Department of Labor certified for our apprenticeship program. So those are ways in which we're trying to really fast-track people into companies because there's a direct need. And the third step is what we call business acceleration, which is taking ideas and concepts and people at different stages and putting them through a process, whether that's through curriculum, whether that's through guided mentorship and coaching and additional steps, and really getting and helping businesses get to the next level so that they can employ more people from our workforce development and our people development.
Sure. Excellent. And I know firsthand we did the Business Accelerator at Endeleo a couple of years ago now. It seems like it was just yesterday, but we had probably 20 students that got into your program, and within 6 weeks they were coding, they were developing applications for some of our ministries. It was amazing. They got a certification, and many of them said that they would use that as a platform to do whatever they wanted to do in their careers. I mean, how gratifying is that?
I mean, it's amazing because when you hear stories of folks that are going to engineering schools, and you like to think that you might have had a piece of that inspiration, but at the same time, you just want to equip people with the skills, right? And let them be able to choose the paths, and not to say, hey, you're pigeonholed into this path just because we're teaching coding. Coding isn't everything. Technology isn't everything. Entrepreneurship isn't everything. But when you give people the tools and the resources and the access, they can just do amazing things far beyond your imagination.
Yeah, we were talking about Trinity actually does a scholarship program every year, but we don't do. One of our members brought this to me at the farmers market. Actually, she's a vendor, and she brought the idea of Melvin, why don't we think about doing technical or vocational scholarships for young people instead of just the 4-year college? And I said, wow, you know what? That's amazing, because the grandson of one of the farmers wants to be a carpenter, and yet there aren't any outlets that I know of where there's scholarship money to pursue that. And so I said, I'm gonna take that up with the boss and find out if we can include vocational training, because one of the things we do at Endeleo is health, education, and community development. And in our education space, we just had this conversation with our staff yesterday about there is no one size fits all, and rushing everyone to a 4-year college is just not going to work. And it feels like almost like an assembly line where they're just robots going over a cliff and into this abyss of debt without a job, and now saddled with all this debt. And maybe during the process, if doing their college or their journey, if it's a 2-year college or whatever, that they keep their eyes open to technology and all the other things that are available to them. You said it many times, just giving folks options is so key, and we're trying to do that here at Endeleo.
Yeah, and I think just to add on to that, a lot of folks are excited about technology. It's the buzzword, STEM, and but it's also important that we have programs and organizations like Endeleo as well that are adding to that conversation, because it's important that we touch students and we impact people from so many different angles. And I think some people look as tech as this one-size-fits-all solution that it's going to solve the problem.
Sure.
We still need wraparound services. We still need to be coaching
Absolutely.
kids. We still need to be providing so many other avenues that are completely unrelated to tech as well, which make you a better tech person and which make you a more well-rounded person. See the world, go to other countries. And
Sure.
I think anytime you can really provide those opportunities to more people, just amazing things are going to happen.
You know, that makes me think of a situation that I just wrote about in our Trinity Bulletin that's going to come out Sunday. We get a page in the bulletin, and one of the disturbing things was that the Walgreens at 95th and Halsted is going to close August 11th, and you know, it's like, it's devastating because one of the missions of Endeleo is revitalizing a blighted 95th Street corridor from 95th and Halsted back to the Red Line. And we've got a caller. Go ahead, caller. Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Hi. I'm calling because I see you use such broad terms. When you say technology, that encompasses a huge area. Exactly what is it that you're referring to when you say technology? Are you talking about computers, or exactly what are you talking about?
Yes.
And would you give me the name of your, you just said it's Blue?
Yes.
Because you just can't, I just tuned in rather.
Okay, great.
Give me your name and phone number, the name of your company and your phone number. Maybe I can get more information later.
Absolutely. Thank you for the call and thank you for the question. You want to take that?
So, my name is Emile Cambry, and I'm the founder of Blue 1647. And so as far as technology, that could be everything from web development, app development, computers. It could be everything from wireless networks. It could be virtual reality. There's a lot of intersection that's going on in technology. So when I speak in these broad terms, it's because the hardware space and the software space are coming together in so many ways. And there's just a lot of integration of them all.
And you might want to give them your website if you're online, ma'am.
Yeah, and if you go to blue1647.com, you'll be able to take a look at all of our classes, workshops, events, and really more specifics around all those different things I mentioned.
And that's really cool, too, because you cover the whole spectrum of ages. I mean, from seniors to what's the age of your youngest coder now?
Yeah, we had a 4-year-old student, which was our youngest.
That's crazy.
And it's about engagement, and it's about exposure and opportunity. And imagine what 12, 13, 14 years of exposure that you might have otherwise not have be able to provide. And that person is going to be able to give back, reach back, and help and inspire folks from her community. And and that's what it's all about, is really making it so that it's not weird that someone is coding on a computer or building an application. It's not different. That's just what you see when you walk to a coffee shop or anywhere throughout our communities.
We've got another caller. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, good evening, gentlemen. All the stuff that you're talking about is great. You know, living up to where you want to live up to. But that should be the norm. If 20 years ago, if you wanted something, you went to school. You learned it in school. Now, kids don't want to go to school. All they want is a $50 hour job. You got to earn that. I earned it. I went to school, and I had 2 kids. And I went back to school, to get what I wanted. So, really, you got hard work usually is enough for everybody to get their dream.
Well, thank you for the comment, and you're absolutely right. It feels like we live in a microwave economy where sometimes young folks expect success yesterday, but I can tell you, and I think they'll quickly find out, whatever it is you want to do. My young kids are doing music, and they're finding that you've got to be trained at some level for whatever it is as you want to do it. It doesn't matter across the board. You're going to have to get some training. It may not be a formal college atmosphere, but you're going to have to be taught. So it's no way to escape that. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely, and also, it's our job as educators to find ways to pull people in interesting ways that are different than before.
Absolutely.
So it's our job to innovate as our students and our young ones want different experiences too.
Hey, listen, this has been wonderful. I thank you, Emile. The time has just gone away so fast. I'm going to have you back if you're willing to come back. This is wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. Next week, I want to tell you that at the market we'll be doing double value coupons. So please, if you use Link, you can use your coupon and get twice as much food for what you buy in produce, as long as it's produce. So if you spend $10, you'll get $20 worth of food. So please take advantage of that. I'm Melvin Thompson. This is the Endeleo Institute. Thank you for joining By Any Greens Necessary.